1964. I was a little girl sitting in the linoleum floor of my mother's house in Melbourne, watching Anne Bancroft present the Oscar of the Best Actor in the 36th Academy Awards. She opened the envelope and said 5 words that literally made history. The winner is Sidney Poitier. And up to the stage came the most elegant man I had ever seen. I remember his tie was white, and of course his skin was black. And I had never seen a black man being celebrated like that. And it is not lost on me that at this moment there are some little girls watching as I become the first black woman to be given this same award. It is an honor. It is an honor and it is a privilege to share this evening with all of them. And also with the incredible men and women who inspired me, who challenged me, who sustained and made my journey to this stage possible. What I know for sure is that speaking your truth is the most powerful tool that we all have. And now I'm especially proud and inspired by all the women who felt strong enough and empowered enough to share their own personal stories. Each one of us in this room is known for the stories that we tell. And this year, I became the story. So tonight I want to express my gratitude to all the women who have endured years of abuse and assault, for they, like my mother, had children to feed, and bills to pay, and dreams to pursue. They are the women whose name will never know. They are factory workers and domestic workers. They work in factories and they work in restaurants, and they are in academia and engineering and science and medicine. They are part of the world of tech and politics and business. For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dare to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up. I repeat, their time is up. And I just hope that Reese Tyler died knowing that her truth, like the truth of many other women who have been tormented in those years, and even now tormented, goes marching on. It was somewhere in Rosa Parks' heart, almost 11 years later, when she decided to stay seated in that bus in Montegano. And it is here with every woman who chooses to say, "Me too," again. And every man who chooses to listen. So I want all the girls watching here now to know that a new day is on its horizon. And when that day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room, and some pretty phenomenal men, trying hard to make sure that they become the leaders who would take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
Thank you, Prachi. Carla Harris once said, "There is no more powerful feeling than empowering someone else." Carla Harris is the Vice Chairman of Wealth Management and Senior Client Advisor at Morgan Stanley. She was appointed by President Barack Obama to chair the National Women's Business Council. Next, we have Aditi Menon of 11B portraying Carla Harris.
Making a mistake does not make you special. Everybody makes a mistake. What makes you special is how and if you get out. They said, "Carla, why don't you talk about the pearls you would have given to your 25-year-old self after being a woman on the Wall Street for 30 years? So, here's how it goes. Dear Karen, the first thing I'd like to tell you is own your power. When people are starting to question whether or not you can, and you start to doubt whether or not you can, power. The next thing I'd like to tell you is you must be comfortable in taking risks. If you never reach far enough to hit that fall, you won't know how far you can go. So, what's the worst that can happen if you take a risk and it doesn't work out? So, you fail. But guess what, Carla? Failure always brings a gift. And that gift is called experience. The third piece of advice, remember that it is easier to beg for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. The fourth piece of advice, and Carla, this is a big one. If you meet somebody, a guy or a gal that you are interested in, and they tell you that you are too